of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. We have two people signed up for open forum this evening, Ms. Abigail Hilliard and Ms. McNamara. I know Ms. McNamara wants to speak to the Lifetouch issue. If you don't mind, I will have you speak at that time when we get into that item, unless you had something else. And Ms. Hilliard? Your name and address for the record, please.
Abigail Hilliard, 892 Brighton Road. Tell me when.
Yes.
Good. Okay, sorry. Good evening. I'm here tonight to ask you to not enter into the proposed physical therapy and occupational therapy contract for special ed related services. I've already expressed this to the district administration. The contractor that's proposed for this service has violated federal law, the Individuals with Disabilities in Education Act, for the past 3 years by not providing proper programming for the prescribed related services. They've documented student regression of skills and still not addressed their programmatic failures. This is a failure to our students and a failure to the taxpayer for funding their services. Furthermore, there are ethical concerns over a company unwilling to provide service to a student, blaming students for their lack of progress, and refusing to get off of their cell phones while they text their child in the middle of a therapy session. These are practices we cannot accept for our students. When they don't do their jobs or don't do them properly, the school has to pay for independent evaluations and spend the time and money to contract with another service provider to meet the legally required services mandated by the student's IEP. Should you choose to proceed with the PTOT contract, please ensure there's financial responsibility tied to them for not providing services they're required to provide. For example, when they don't provide services to our students, they will find a subcontractor in a prescribed period of time to ensure that 100% of students' needs are met, and they will pay the difference if the subcontractor charges more than what the school district rate in the contract is. If they're unable or unwilling to provide objective data to support student progress, they should be required to pay for the evaluation, a public expense to hold them accountable for their failures. The district should not have to pay for rework. Even if the programmatic concerns are addressed by the contract, the blaring ethical concerns still remain. Our children in special education deserve no less than equal access to education, and appropriate services in physical therapy and occupational therapy are required for some of them to be afforded equal access to education and all that the school experience should afford them. My second concern is regarding adapted physical education, or APE. At the last school committee meeting, it was talked about that we have two, one at the middle school and one at the high school, two APE teachers. So my question is, what is being done to meet the federal mandate that all special ed students starting at age 3 receive adapted physical education? There's at least one student who has not received APE in 3 years, and it's not written into that child's IEP either. Both those things are illegal. It is a mandated service per IDEA. Thank you for your dedication to addressing these concerns and seeing that every child receives a free, appropriate public education. My last request is just the enforcement of the maintaining student privacy policy, just doing it consistently. So when I spoke with my daughter last October, Ms. Farnworth stopped me for her privacy. But a few weeks ago, another resident spoke of their child and told a whole story about their Chromebook and how the Chromebook had a positive effect on the child. No one stopped them or even reminded them about the privacy policy. And so it's not a knock on the resident. The story was pertinent to the discussion at hand, but rather I ask you to not use the policy to discriminate against those of us coming to the school committee for help. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Diane, if we have questions about that, can we talk about that as a group at a later date? Can we put that on the agenda?
We can put it on our agenda, yes.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please submit your request.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we'll now go over to superintendent's update. Mr. Haskins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, first, I just want to say we are really proud of the Tiverton High School Lady Tigers basketball team for an excellent season, making it to the Division II championship at the Ant Pavilion in Providence last week. want to congratulate all of our players, all of our student athletes, our coaches, Mike Brigham, Mariah Caldwell, and Rachel Mata. The championship game was a very exciting and close game, played with toughness, determination, and class, and all should be proud. We do have an important upcoming event. The middle school, high school concert will be held here at Tiverton High School on March 19th. Hope you can make it. It will be a crowded one, so come early. Those are all my updates. No resignations or appointments, no other items for recognition or upcoming events.
Thank you very much. And just as an aside, I know Mrs. Sherman and I attended that basketball game, as did you, and as did our high school principal, Dr. Keogh. And it was very well attended by Tiverton in general. I think one of the points you made to me was, you know, we had just as many kids in that crowd and adults in that crowd as the opposition, who was a Providence-based school. So it was well attended, very exciting. I don't think any of us were happy with the outcome, but the girls gave it their best, and I know we're all so proud. So thank you. Moving on to policy updates. We have this evening, second read, new policy, athletic and student activity funds management policy. And then we will go from that. If we get through that, we will vote to remove 3 policies because they've been incorporated into the new one. So do I have a motion to approve policy, new policy 373, athletic and student activity funds management policy?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a second. Is there any discussion or are there any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Okay, that is approved. We'll then move to vote to remove the following policies, and I'm going to do it with one vote because all 3 have now been incorporated into the new policy 373. We have policy 370, district athletic and student funds, policy 371, student funds, and policy 372, student activity accounts.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor? Okay, that's passed as well. Thank you very much. All right, moving into general business. We will begin our general business this evening with a discussion of parent concerns around the use of Lifetouch vendor for student pictures. I want to first of all thank Mrs. McNamara, who's with us this evening, and I'll call her up. She made the request for us to discuss this at our meeting, and she, you know, her concerns where they concern the safety of student data, particularly, are what rise to what I think we should hear about and discuss. So first of all, I'm going to open it up and allow her to speak, and then we'll take it in steps from there.
Sounds
Okay?
great. So thank you for putting me in this on the agenda. Before I get started, I'm just going to, I have a couple of show and tell pictures, so. All right, and you can look at them, you can hold on to them till the end, it's really up to you. So we all know that Lifetouch kind of ended up in the news regarding the Epstein files. And I'm not going to lie, this really opened up the door for me to be able to get other parents listening, because I've had concerns all year regarding Lifetouch. And yes, there was some sort of a link. It seemed a little bit of a 6 degrees of separation. Not that this is great, but with that being said, my biggest concern that I've had with them as a parent is their lack of transparency regarding their AI policy. So we're not, and when I say we, I mean parents, we're not being told or even asked directly whether or not our children's photos are being fed into AI editing software, which kind of opens them up to being part of this big unregulated machine learning apparatus that AI is. And before I get started on this, I do want to say that, I'm not here to tell you that all AI is bad, but I am here to speak about the lack of regulation and a little bit about how AI works. And, when I'm tasked to work with it at my job, and I am tasked to work with it a lot, so I can speak on this. My personal goal seems to be to always find the weakness in it rather than the strengths, because I find that it gives you a better understanding of where it can all go wrong and be watching for that rather than assume that AI is always going to get it right. So how does this relate to Lifetouch and our kids' photos? We've used Photoshop automation even for years, to make the backgrounds in sync with each other, to make sure all of the kids' photos are cropped the same way. You can set up the photos and take the pictures, and if the light changes even just a little bit, the backgrounds will look a little bit off. So AI can be used to help with that automation, but if automation is AI automation, it can be kind of like a GPS in a way where you give it a clear set of parameters. And the AI itself that I fear that they are using is more like a self-driving car, if that makes any sense in the two differences. So when you are using, let's say, ChatGPT, which I feel like is kind of the one that everybody hears about these days, and you make those photos that you see that everybody has on Facebook, where the person, I think the last one was the people in front of like the candy canes that came out at Christmas time. That's what's known as generative AI, and you're giving ChatGPT a whole bunch of prompts, and it's spitting out that image that you've asked it to make for you. And I fear that this is what is happening a bit with the Lifetouch photos this time around. And I will say, I did not notice this last year or in years past where we've had our pictures taken using Lifetouch. So if you look at some of those photos that I've given, every single child has the same smile. Their heads are all tilted in the same exact direction. Their eyes are all opened almost like to the same, I'm going to say percentage, because that's what the prompt would be. If I was doing this, like I would give a prompt that says to make sure eyes are opened 20% more, smile is 25% more, head tilt is at this angle. Crop is this far from the top of, the crop, the child, so everything looks uniform. And when I received my pictures back this time, as soon as I got them, I think back in October, I said, these photos look like aliens dressed up as my children and went to school today to get their pictures taken. Like it's off. And I know what to look for because I do this for a living as a graphic designer. So I started with the call to Lifetouch. Well, you can't find a phone number to call them. So then I got on their chat and I tried to say, do you have the original of my children's photos before they've been edited? And the best response I could get was, well, we're going to have a picture retake day if you're not happy. I said, no, that's not that. I want to see the original versus the corrections that you've done. And they could not provide me with an answer and just kind of ended the chat with me. So I had to start searching to see how they're even doing their editing. And from what I was able to find out is that their editing is done through a central lab or an automated system. And that system is called VividPix, which it says, trying to look into them, computer analyzes the photo and makes enhancements. So this system is, probably the self-driving car that I was talking about. And then I had to go a little bit deeper down the rabbit hole, and that VividPix is an AI photo enhancer. So in essence, our photos are being fed into this AI machine, probably being batch processed, where every single photo is going in. There's one prompt that's saying, you know, tilt the children's heads, make sure the eyes are open like this, change the smile. And we don't know how secure that is. We don't know if this is a free version. If it's a free version, you know, that opens up a lot of things because, you know, somewhere in the terms and conditions, there could be something that says that they're allowed to use anything that's fed into there as part of their machine learning. And again, we never signed off on this. Like when we had our kids' photos taken, nobody said that this was going to happen. There wasn't like a box to even check saying that we wanted any sort of editing done with our, you know, children's photos. So, you know, again, there's the privacy issue, but, you know, I have taught Photoshop, like, you know, to college students for years and years and years, and as part of teaching graphic design. And one of the things I do before we even open the program is we have an ethical discussion about Photoshopping people and what that can do and putting out standards that are not attainable. And I show examples on the screen of like when you edit somebody's appearance, you know, what does that do? That creates somebody that's unattainable. And I would show pictures of, you know, magazine covers and things like that and say, you know, this is the magazine cover that went out on the stands. This is the untouched version. Now look at this. If a Hollywood star cannot attain their own perfection over here, what does that say to the general public? But also, what does it say to our kids that their photos were fed in and they were digitally altered, their smiles were changed, their eye shape was changed. There was a lot of things about them that were changed. And for some kids, that might just be like a little thing like, I mustn't have looked good enough and they had to change me. And again, I can't even say, give me the original photo of my children. There's no, apparently it went straight from the SD card in the camera into this batch processing because that's part of their automation now, and there is no original left. So, you know, I just feel like this is something that we have to do something about. And again, this is the first year I've noticed this. You know, there's the ethics, there's the fact that we don't know what the terms and conditions are of the software that they're using, whether or not it's secure. You know, from my own personal experience, I work for a company that does a lot of government contracts. Like, I couldn't take anything I've worked on and put it into ChatGPT or anything like that. The AI that we use is literally AI that we have software engineers that have been developing for years and years and years within the, you know, our end. Like, you cannot just take that and feed that in there because it's not secure and you don't know what's going to happen. And the more that you hear about AI on the news, every story you hear is about how any type of regulation is going to mean you're not going to get a contract. You're not going to, you know, you're going to be blacklisted for having like that, those safety guards in place. And I don't think we should be using a company that's just going to feed our kids photos in without any permission from us as parents and open them up to this sort of, you know, risk that their photos are just out there. Once it's in the machine, there is no getting that back. There's no just taking it down. It's really, really terrifying in a way. And I had one other thing I was going to say, and I put it in my notes, and now I'm not going to be able to find it. But there's been a couple of different articles on how if your photos, and especially children's photos, have ended up as part of, you know, the the AI machine, I'm just going to call it that your kids' photos are even more at risk of becoming some deep fake photos, and we know what kind of a horrendous rabbit hole that can be. So I think it would be great if we can look for, going forward, a local photographer. I mean, I'm all for trying to hire somebody who's local anyways, somebody who has a stake in our community, and getting them in to take over the contract and having a real policy in place regarding the editing of those photos when that happens. Because again, I can't find any information out there. And so I did provide, like I said, some photos. I provided larger ones of my children's photos, which some of you have met my kids in person, and if you look, especially at my son, it looks nothing like him. But I also provided, because my daughter every year has professional photos taken at ballet as part of like a fundraiser, and so I provided her school photo versus, again, a professional photo taken professionally. And you can just see the difference in the shape of their eyes, everything, because the ballet photographer didn't use any AI on her. So there it is. And I know a lot about it, so if you do have any questions, I might be able to answer, and if not, I will 100%, even if I have to go to some of the developers at my job, I'll go ask them, to get you guys an answer on anything. So, yes.
Diane, can we put this on the agenda to vote on it?
No. I put this on the agenda. Thank you. I put this on the agenda this evening per Ms. McNamara's request. And I think that what I'd like to do now is turn it to Mr. Haskins, and then we will also hear, do we have the Lifetouch representatives with us this evening? And hear from them as well, because there's, I'm not going to say two sides to every story, but it's not always black and white, right? And so I'd like to hear from everyone on this issue. And maybe if we heard from Lifetouch first, I don't know how many of you, I was expecting one, and I see three. If any of you would like to come up, if you have anything to add.
So what's the agenda item? What are we addressing?
The agenda item says, discussion of parent concerns around the use of Lifetouch.
Okay, so
And this discussion will involve the discussion that Ms. McNamara brought. It's going to involve Lifetouch representatives, and it's going to involve Mr. Haskins.
so the school committee ultimately, do we approve these contracts?
That's a good question for Mr. Haskins.
Okay.
Yeah, I can start with the overview.
That's okay. If Madam Chair wanted to hear from them, I can just note that and I can ask you when we're done, if you want to do it that way.
Certainly.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we have the Lifetouch representatives? Do you wish to have anything? As part of our packets this evening, we were given, just for transparency's sake, we had a memo from Ms. McNamara. We have copies of a move-on petition, I think, that she facilitated online. And then we also have a public statement from Ken Murphy, Lifetouch CEO, on the recent rumors around student privacy. So and may I ask your name, sir?
Hi, good evening. My name is John DeWally.
Is your microphone on?
Push? No, hit the button.
There
Oh,
you go.
doesn't
Thank
stay
you
on.
very much.
John DeWally, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
reside in Situate, Rhode Island. I've worked with the Tiverton schools. Let's see, I've been with Lifetouch for going on 31 years. And I actually worked in the business many years prior to that. I went from the high school division to the elementary division in 2012, and that's when I started working with Pocasset and Fort Barton, Walter Ranger, and then the middle school and then the high school. So I've met a lot of students and faculty and administration from the town. It's been a pleasure to work with everyone. And I guess we have two different issues to discuss. But the first one I would like to address regarding the processing. There is no AI processing in Lifetouch. That's one thing we've never done or have no plans to ever use, and so I'm not sure where that's coming from. I've had a couple of parents on occasion said, "Gee, I got my kids' pictures and they looked a little off." Parents can choose right on the price list. They can choose retouching, and typically that's brightening teeth and blemishes and flyaways. And on occasion, it can be overdone. It can be too much enhancement, and we always will say, sure, we can reprint your package for you, no problem. But any kind of AI processing doesn't exist in our company, and there is no plans to ever use it. As far as students, and I listened intently to what this young lady said. As far as students, when you they pose the kids, the children, on occasion they'll tip their heads, and what you'll notice is if you take a classroom group photo, you may see a lot of kids with a similar tilt, and that's either there could be one photographer at a particular school, or I think we use 3 or 4 at the high school. There's so many students, and that could be the product of that photographer's style. That's why the heads placement, the posing, looks very, very similar. We always do try to get a smile out of people. I can be honest. It's all about. They say what's a real estate location, and portrait sales are expression. So we do try to get a great smile out of them. I was trying to find my grandson's picture. This little guy, 6 years old, he smiles at the drop of a hat. And in school this year, he didn't smile, and I think it's one of the most beautiful pictures I've ever seen. Now, the company could have stuck a smile on his face, I guess, if AI existed, but he doesn't have a smile, so nobody put one in there. But that's what comes to mind from my point of view as far as the posing, for sure, and the expressions. We always try to get the best expression possible. If a child doesn't want to show their teeth, we like to get a nice smile with their lips together, eyes nice and bright. Smiling in the eyes is what we call it. So that's what I have as far as the AI question.
Can we ask questions now, or do you want us to wait?
No, certainly. If you have any questions for Mr. Diwali, please do.
Thank you for coming here tonight, and
Okay.
thank you, Shannon, as well. So for the retouching, because I do remember that as an option when selecting a photo package, that's photography software that does it. It's not AI that does it.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a retouching software. And I know when I talked to Mr. Haskins last week, he did bring up the issue of Lifetouch being involved in Epstein files. And what I would like to, one correction I would like to make, the young lady, I'm sorry, don't remember her name, she mentioned Lifetouch was in the news. It was never in the news. This was a absurd social media rumor. And I'll give you just a brief history to dispel that. In 2018, Lifetouch merged with Shutterfly. It was tremendous, a tremendous partner, tremendous opportunity for families, for pictures, for ordering gifts with pictures, just a perfect marriage. And prior to that, this investment company called Apollo had spoke to Shutterfly about investing. That didn't go anywhere. Shutterfly and Lifetouch merged in 2018. 2019, I guess this company, Apollo, said, hey, you're looking even better now that you have Lifetouch with you. And they started talking investments. Where the former CEO of Apollo, a fellow named Leon Black, his name did appear in the Epstein files. Well, before anything happened between Lifetouch, Shutterfly, and Apollo, Mr. Epstein passed away in 2019. 2 months later, this merger came to fruition. So there was never anything remotely connected within the companies. And like I say, it just was an awful rumor. Someone started on social media, and perpetuated like many things do, got out of hand, and it was nasty. It could cost us some business down the road and a bad name, and we strive day in and day out to give a wonderful product to families and very competitive pricing, great value, and try to be a great partnership with our schools as we're official photographers and with the Superintendent's Association as well as the Principals Association, and we've got a lot of great references from those organizations. So I would be happy to address any questions from there.
So you're saying that a parent would have to check off a box and pay extra money to have those pictures touched?
Retouched, yes.
So that would be, so you're saying that parents that feel their child's picture is not their child, they've hit the retouch
Yes.
selection?
For example, maybe they think the child's hair might be frizzy. They may think the child has a cut or blemish. They want to. It's not, and you don't. I mean, kids in the little ones in the early years, they don't need retouching. I mean, they're beautiful just as they are. And you'll find the retouching more when the kids become more self-conscious. Maybe in middle schools they may choose it. It's mostly young girls that have it, or maybe then a little more in the high schools. Kids may have blemishes that they want to have taken care of, but it's basic retouching.
Ms. McNamara, did you check that box? You did not check the
No.
box? Okay. Thank you.
And in the digital world, pretty much there's, for example, within either in a program called Lightroom or Photoshop. In the digital world, and I'm just sitting in my car reading, I follow a bunch of photographers on Instagram, and the whole, and this particular subject was, are digital cameras nowadays too sharp, razor sharp? And if I do a portrait of someone, several of the different advancements that you can use to make a picture more sharp, I would go the opposite direction frequently, almost, I'd say 90% of the time, to take that sharp edge off. So there's a lot to it, but like I say, with Lifetouch, it's basic editing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As far as you know, has there been any data breach ever of
No, not to my knowledge.
Okay.
Alicia? No, no, I never have, no. One of the items I would like to mention, I'm very, very proud of with this company, is when our photographers, again, the young lady mentioned taking the SD card out of the camera. There is no SD card in the camera. Our photographers photograph on a Nikon camera. It's tethered to a Panasonic Toughbook computer, military-style computer. And as soon as that image is made, it goes into that computer and it's encrypted. So if, say, a photographer finished up at the middle school, on the way home, stopped in, let me run to Dunkin' Donuts, grab a coffee, come back out, the trunk's open, camera case is gone. No one, not even the FBI, can get into that computer and retrieve those images. Yeah. So that's, and I have several, two pieces of information I'll leave with you. One is, these days we don't hear very many nice things about the media. And the media's been very kind to us. I think there's 16 different excerpts from, I think it's the Post, USA Today, commenting on this Epstein issue. And they all go right to the fact that there is no connection. There was never any connection when Mr. Epstein was alive or after. And the other piece is, it's a list of questions. And it's what I would present to a school. For example, say I was going to Portsmouth Middle School and trying to sign Portsmouth Middle School. I would give them this list, and it's questions to ask their potential vendor or the person they're using, do you do these things? And it includes non-AI. So I will leave those. You can take a peek at them. and very, very, very informative. And I'll leave my card as well, and be more than happy to stop by, speak to anyone, any parent that's Lifetouch 100% guaranteed. Any pictures that don't look right, we do them without question. You know, people call up and say, "I never got my package." Take that, and we make a package. We don't do detective work. Say, did they really pay? And you know, very, very good like that. And also on that note too, if say a fellow calls up and says, I need some 8x10s of my daughter's picture. That parent can't order those pictures without the student's ID number and the school picture day number. No one can randomly call up and order pictures. It's a very, very secure system.
Can you confirm too, in doing my own research, there is a form that can be filled out to request to have your child's data deleted if you choose, correct? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions for Mr. Doyle? No, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Haskins, I've put together a number of questions, and I think some of these have been addressed already, but I would like to give you the opportunity to kind of, I know we've spoken about this, and that you have done some of your own research on this topic. Starting with things that matter most here in Tiverton, specifically, could you kind of explain the current relationship that we have with Lifetouch and how it's managed here in Tiverton, and how it's been managed historically?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Historically, each school pursues an individual contract with a school photograph company. So each of the Tiverton schools has its own individual contract currently with Lifetouch. I have examined Lifetouch's publicly available privacy policies and practices. Student data is of paramount importance to the Tiverton School Department. Lifetouch publicly displays their data protection policies. All of their photographs are encrypted, and there is a great level of protection for student data. As you know, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act protects student data, including photographs, and so it's really important for this Tiverton School Department to have a relationship with a photographer that meets that criteria. Historically, as I mentioned, the agreements have been handled at the individual school level and not at the district level. Currently, Pecasset Elementary has a contract through the 2026-27 school year. Ranger Elementary and Tiverton Middle School have contracted with Lifetouch through the 2025-26 school year. And Tiverton High School's contract was signed in the spring of 2024 for the 2025-26 through 2027-28 school year. Given these arrangements, that each individual school is contracting with a school photographer independently, it may make sense for the committee to consider a more consistent process through the school committee.
What are your, can you speak, I mean, is it, I understand that in the past, the school committee has had no involvement with this, and that's primarily, my understanding is that there is no debt that the school department pays to Lifetouch. This is entirely your sales, where you earn your money. Do we, who at the school level is making the decisions as to which vendor? Is it strictly the principal? Is it a group of people? Do you know?
Yes, and I'll speak to I have two answers for that. First, the principals are signing the contracts currently with the school photography vendor. That has historically happened in Tiverton. In my experience, that's really the process in most districts. The reason for that is Lifetouch offers some value-added services to the school. There are incentives for the PTOs. There are other incentives such as the digital photos that we use for our student information system. The discounts that are provided are usually at the school level, especially at the high school. There's the yearbook, which is a value-added offer from Lifetouch for the school free of charge, and senior portraits. So that's one reason. I would say the other major reason why the schools contract primarily with Lifetouch is that there really is a lack of competition. I don't know the industry too well, but what I understand is there's not really a huge profit margin. Families are not buying school photos in the volume that they were 20 years ago. So to find a competitor, and I agree with Ms. McNamara, contracting with a local photographer would be a great move for any school district to value local business. But there are two reasons why we don't. And this is my assumption for Tiverton, but based on my experience and my review of these contracts. One is that there aren't any competitors. It's such a low profit margin that smaller competitors do not find it worthwhile. In my previous district, we had a smaller vendor. They dropped the school because they weren't making the profit. The second is that it's hard for a smaller business to offer the extent of data, privacy, and protection that a larger company can offer. When the photographs are taken with Lifetouch, they're immediately encrypted into the computer. It's a high bar for a small photography company to meet in terms of the data protection. So I think it's really for those two reasons why individual schools have contracted with Lifetouch.
I'd like to give members of the committee an opportunity to ask questions.
Why don't you start down there?
Start, okay. So you answered one of my questions. I was wondering if every school did have Lifetouch, because I do remember years ago there might have been, thank you, another vendor in one of the buildings. Yeah, for a while, but it's been a while, right? Yeah, so you answered that question too. And so I'm just curious, when you said before that we might want to consider a more consistent practice going forward, do you mean like contract that all has like the same end date for every building? Like, what do you mean by that?
For consistency, contracts go to the school committee for approval consistently. I'll be presenting a contract for a consultant this evening. That's coming to the school committee. So in general, contracts should be coming to the school committee. And I would include, even though there's not a financial obligation to the district, I would include school photography contracts as well. Now, the recommendation may come from the individual schools, but as a body, I would recommend the school committee consider changing that policy so that school photography contracts too come to the school committee.
And so when we contract with Lifetouch, we're not held to a certain amount of sales. It's whatever the families purchase, and we incur no debt as a school system?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep, there's no financial obligation from the Tiverton School Department to the school photographer. The profit comes from families purchasing photographs for their children. However, there is an incentive for the district, and I would be looking for, if we were looking at competitors for the same sort of value added, the resources that Lifetouch provides, such as the student ID cards, the digital images for the student information system, the photo directories and class albums, which are very helpful for administrators like me who try to learn names and faces. Those photo albums are helpful. So any competitor, I would be looking for those things as well.
And I would imagine in the contracts that each building principal has signed, there's language speaking to data management, privacy, FERPA, encryption, all of that is included in that language?
Yes, all of that is, the data protections and data privacy is included in those contracts.
That's it for me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kim, anything?
I'm all set, thanks.
Deb?
So anyone can, I mean, anyone can opt out of using whatever service it is. I mean, we're not, correct? I mean, no one has to use Lifetouch to be, I mean, I know most of our seniors do not. You know, they go to private photographers, and I know there's even a very, very strong AI yearbook trend that many of our students are using AI apps to do their own, you know, photographs for the yearbooks. But anybody can opt out of using. If they opted out and they used another photographer, I would assume they could still be included in that yearbook for that school, or how?
Yes. So currently, students do opt out. We have school photographs this week at Spring Photos at Pocasset Elementary. We do have students who have opted out of that. So for our yearbook, yes, we would use other photos.
Okay. And I know some students opt out just for privacy reasons. They don't want their pictures out there at all. So, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
For the class photo, unfortunately, because the class photos are done through Lifetouch, that student would not be included in the composite class photo.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. McNamara, did you want to say something? Kind of jumping out of your seat over there.
I just had a question then. Are we able to ask what photo software they're using and what their process is, like kind of like the start to finish process? Because like I said, going back, I can only speak to my own kids' photos. Like, I can tell, because this is what I do for a living, that it's gone through something before it came to me, and it's never, this is the first year I've noticed it too, where I haven't ever noticed that before. So I just was wondering if we can ask, what the software is that they are using and what the process is.
I will be happy to ask that question. As far as the process goes, I'm not looking, do any of the folks that we have here from Lifetouch this evening have that insight into the process? First of all, I don't want to put you on the hot spot if you don't know.
So
And you are?
my name is Alicia Durand. I'm the area manager here.
Oh, hi, Alicia.
And I'm a local Rhode Island resident,
Thank you.
born and raised. So we can get that specific information and we can provide it and share it with the district. I just don't want to give misinformation, so I would like to confirm that with our lab leadership before we do that.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that, to me, it seems like, Diane, and Chris, to your point, that would be something that would be presented to us when we approve the contract. So that would be good information to have. It'd be something we could discuss when these contracts are being approved. To your point, there might be some really good, we really should be approving them, and there's some good data points that we can offer for the entire district when we do so.
I think in front of us now is the question, we have multiple contracts with multiple expiration dates. And unless I'm mistaken, I believe we have to abide by those contract terms. What I would like to see is, Mr. Haskins, for you to put together really a recommendation as to whether or not that should continue at the school level moving forward, or if it should be at the district level. And I'm sure that this school committee and any future school committee will be more than happy to approve the contract. I think since we've brought you here on board, that whole process has become more transparent than it ever has been. The concern I have is that I would like, and this speaks to one of Ms. McNamara's concerns in writing, is that those decisions be a collaborative decision or recommendation that include not only the school administrators, but the families. You know, if there are preferences, if there are true comparisons between vendors, that perhaps, because this is such a personal product, that perhaps families be involved, even if it is at the school improvement team level, or perhaps even in some other format. Is something I would like to see.
And I think it's also important to make sure that families understand they can opt out, they can use a different vendor, they can use a different, you know, they can submit a different picture if they'd like to.
Well,
So-
can I get clarification on that, though? Do we have yearbooks at all levels, or is it just the high school?
They have them.
They have them?
Yeah, I believe that's true. I believe we have them at all levels.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a yearbook coordinator here.
Yes.
Sure. Please
Hi.
give us your name.
Hi, Chris Giannini. I am the yearbook coordinator for the high school. I also used to do them at the elementary level many, many, many years ago when my daughter and my son were there. They've both since graduated. We also used Lifetouch for the yearbook at the elementary level. The high school, we use Jostens, but Lifetouch takes all of our children's photos. The seniors, yes, they have their photos taken with Lifetouch, and they use them for their student IDs.
Ah, okay.
Most seniors will submit a photo directly to me for me to upload. Lifetouch has been wonderful with us. They send me a file, which I have to have a certain number to get into, so I can download that file for the use for the yearbook. And then that goes off to Jostens. That's how they get in. The only pictures that are just the senior class are allowed to opt to send in a photo. If they don't have their photo taken with Lifetouch, then there will be a tiger ball print, no photo available. The seniors are allowed, and I can tell you that at the high school level, there is no AI going on with their pictures because my seniors think it's fun to wear wigs and make faces because they know it's only going to be their student ID. So the senior year.
So
I
they
get
can
many-
opt
I
out
get
at
many
all
photos.
levels, but they can't submit a different picture unless
Only
they're
at
a
the senior
senior.
class, yes.
Okay,
So the
thank you.
seniors are the ones.
That was my question, because I remember making the elementary yearbook, and I couldn't remember if we could flow in a picture.
So no, and if anybody was
I don't think
absent-
that's consistent because I did the yearbook when I was at Fort Barton and people sent them in from all over the place and we allowed it. I really
Okay.
think there's a lot of inconsistency.
Interesting.
And depending upon who
Yeah.
does it, what PTO does it,
Yeah.
what parent does it, there's a lot of inconsistency there.
So,
Which raises another point of making sure anyone who is working on a yearbook knows all the guidlines.
The
that-
data safety,
Right.
yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, we worked with great principals that
We
instilled
do.
that in us.
And great parents,
right.
but
And the classroom teachers, too, they were always mindful of that.
no.
But
especially with
yeah.
the kids that they sign a paper saying that their
Yeah.
photos are not allowed
Yeah.
at publications. Some of the parents will allow it for the yearbook just because they know it's going to be in-house.
And unfortunately, we just live in a different world. I
Right.
mean, I was doing a yearbook 20 years ago. It's a different world,
Definitely.
so.
I also want to point out that Lifetouch goes to our sporting events. They take photos of our sports teams, action photos. They take the group photos of like the basketball team. They go all over to different, some of them, they'll go to different games. If we don't have one in-house, they'll go to other places to take our photos as well. So I just wanted to put it out there that they do that for us as well. So.
Yes,
Thank you.
come on up, please.
I just wanted to add some clarification into the question about if someone can upload their own photo to the yearbook. So whoever the advisor is that's working on the yearbook, or even an administrator at the school, they have access to what's called the Lifetouch portal, which is a secure portal that images are stored in. And they actually have the ability, if someone sends them a photo, to upload that photo to the portal for that student. And the images from the portal are what flow into the yearbook. So if parents did opt out and did send in a photo, the students would be able to be in the yearbook if their parents sent in a different photo.
You're talking about the class pages? Because there's like class pages, and then
yeah,
at
where
the end it's like candids.
Where like each individual student is?
Yeah. Yep,
Correct.
class pages.
So also with the candidates, we do have something called a community upload, which is a secure site that anyone from the community can upload photos for the yearbook. The only person who can access those photos is someone who has access to the portal, or the person who uploaded those photos themselves. So you can only see the ones you uploaded,
Okay,
but I can't see those even if I upload photos.
okay.
So, any other questions on that part of it? Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think at the end of the day, our job, our primary concern is the students. And, you know, going back to Ms. McNamara's concerns, particularly in the background information she sent over to us, the concern about data privacy is paramount. And so thank you for helping us understand that. Mr. Haskins, do you have any recommendations with respect to perhaps next steps at this point?
Yes, Madam Chair. My recommendation would be for the schools to continue their contracts with Lifetouch, for the policy committee to consider a policy related to school photographs and data protection specific to photographs, and to bring future contract requests to the school committee for approval. Additionally, I think there is opportunity for schools to communicate with parents about their right to opt out. I know we do it, but I'm not sure how strong the messaging is around that, so I can look more into that, so that parents clearly know that they can opt out of school photos, and what the opt-out process would involve.
I think one thing that's important to note, and Mr. Doyle, he specifically said to us this evening that Lifetouch does not use AI. And I understand that maybe we have parents that might disagree with that. And to Mr. Haskins' point, you do have the option to opt out. At this point, we do have those binding contracts in place. So, thank you.
So does this mean we're not going to
We have no vote to
entertain?
take.
No, I'm not asking that. Are we going to, is Mr. Haskins going to look at anything else?
Well,
And compare?
I agree with his recommendation
So we're just
for
keeping Lifetouch.
policy, and then perhaps as these contracts expire, that we be involved. Yes.
So what was it?
sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead, I didn't see you, go ahead.
Sorry, just for the discussion piece.
Can you
so-
please, so we can hear you?
Sure.
Thank you.
So I saw a couple articles online specifically because
Could you continue to face us
I
so
just
we
didn't
can
want to
hear
turn
you?
my back to them. It's kind of to them too.
Oh,
so
well,
please forgive me.
Except that when you're at a school committee meeting, you're really addressing the board, not anyone in the audience.
Sure, I don't like
Appreciate
turning my
that.
back to people
Thank
when I'm
you.
talking about them. It feels rude. So I was looking up a couple of articles on Lifetouch and AI, and there's a repeated phrase that's used in that they don't use AI for training. AI for training, meaning they're not sharing your kids' photos with an AI training model to teach the model more things. But what I think the district should look into to address the parent concerns is, do they use AI for editing? So I'm not a graphic designer. I trust Shannon's expertise in that field. But from what I'm seeing online, the fact that for training kept being used over and over in Lifetouch communication, I think it would be worthwhile for the sake of the parents to be able to share whether or not they use AI for editing as opposed to AI for training. I think that's just a courtesy that should be afforded to folks, because I've seen some of the pictures as well, and they are questionable. And then just regarding the small firm versus a large firm thing, I just think people should be given opportunity. There are a lot of photographers out there, a lot of photographers. I think we could even look into a CTE program. Are there students learning photography that would love to apply those skills? But if you're using a big firm that people really aren't comfortable with, can you have a vendor or two? I just feel like this is a small town. People really, really, really want to maintain the small town feel. There are a lot of photographers out there who I think would be okay with the lack of profit margin, depending on the size. Maybe they're not going to take on the whole district, but I think they should be afforded that opportunity to keep small things small, or even afford students, the training opportunity in a CTE program. Just other things to look into in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
So as I mentioned before, we're happy to get the detailed information about any editing and retouching programs we do use and share that with the district. So that will be an action item I take from the meeting today.
Thank you.
To speak on behalf of local and what that means to me. So I understand that Lifetouch is a national company and Shutterfly is a national brand. We are a local company. We have a national backing that gives us more resources and provides us with the ability to ensure that data security and privacy is top of mind. Our photographers are all local. We have, I will say, at least 10 to 15 photographers that probably live within 15 minutes of this high school. I personally live just across the bridge in Providence. John is also a local resident. Our office is in Cranston, Rhode Island. We are a local company. We are a local vendor. We just have a national backing. So,
No, thank you for that clarification, and I think it's important to note that while I know local, small business, all of that is important, we also have to face the realities of economics as we go through all of our business dealings, and that includes contracting out with First Student, who's not only national but global. However, they're based here in town and in Portsmouth. Chartwell's, our school lunch provider, is another large firm, but they have a local base of people. And that's, always a balance that we have to strive to recognize. So,
thank you.
thank you. All right, I will give the committee one last chance to opine.
I just want to summarize, I like to summarize. So what we're expecting from Mr. Haskins is a referral to our policy subcommittee to discuss photography policies, which will include AI editing and processing addressed in those policies. It will also include a district-wide school committee approval of contracts, which may or may not include bids, depending upon whether it falls under the bid process. We, as a public body, we have to follow bidding as well. So that's what I'm hearing
That's how
we're
I understand
expecting.
it.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want to thank the parents for speaking. Thank you, Lifetouch, and sorry to our yearbook coordinator that I put on the spot, but I thought it was important to share that information too. So thank you all for coming tonight.
Yes, thank you all very much. I think it was a great discussion. All right, we will move on in our agenda. Next up, we have a vote to approve a new club at Tiverton High School called Active Minds. And we have Ms. Lalli here to present. Now, I've asked Mr. Andrade to put the video up, and he's ready to cue it whenever you are.
Oh, yes. Do you want to play it first? Sure, let it go.
It doesn't have sound? It's on mute? Is that a possibility? No?
That's okay.
Well, we can see pictures.
Yeah, sure. So that's a video. So let me introduce our two student leaders, Tori Murray and Carly Martin. So they came to me after we went to, that is last year's, not this year's. Kyle Cares puts on a conference with RIL in conjunction, and we brought 5 student leaders, athletes this year, and these were 2 of them. And after the conference, I chaperoned. I thought it was a great experience. After the conference, they came to me asking if they could start a chapter here at Tiverton High School. So I gave you the background. Kyle Cares was started by the Johnson family when their son Kyle committed suicide at the age of 19. He was a popular kid in high school. It happened during his college years. They help facilitate and partner with Active Minds so that schools can become Kyle Cares schools in open Active Mind chapters. So once approved, we'll apply to Kyle Cares for a grant to get the Active Minds chapter off the ground. Just briefly, so Kyle Cares provide the funding, some training. They can bring in They're helping us connect with speakers. They give us a big banner that says we're a Kyle Cares school that we would help develop with administration. And Active Minds is basically a student-run organization that helps promote awareness of mental health issues among teens and young adults. It tries to take the stigma out and to bring it out into the forefront so people discuss it. We won't need any funding. This grant helps us get started. We will have fundraisers as needed. Some schools will do things like at each home game for each sport, have a Kyle Cares awareness night where everyone wears green before the game. Someone gives a brief little speech about what Active Minds is and how it connects with students. The goal is that the two of them are starting it, and they are seniors next year. So then after that, hopefully we pass the leadership on to other students as well. So we are asking your permission to start this chapter and get the ball rolling tomorrow by filling out the proper paperwork.
And before I ask for a motion, do any of the young ladies have anything they'd like to add?
I was a spokesperson
You're
for the evening, yes.
Thank you, okay. So could I please get a motion to approve the new club at Tiverton High School? Is it Kyle's Care or Active Minds?
Well, it's an Active Minds chapters. Will be
Okay.
designated as a Kyle Cares school, though.
So the motion would be to approve the Active Minds chapter for Tiverton High School.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is there any discussion or questions?
I just want to thank you for coming forward with this. The more we talk about it, it reduces the risk. So this is
It
really
does.
important.
And the founder, Mr. Johnson, he's willing to put on a presentation to faculty and make them more aware of what the club is, what the chapter is, what they do, and the resource they have available to us as a district.
And will you be serving as the advisor?
Yes, yes. It's student-run, so I'll be the facilitator, making sure that we get things going and things are done properly and getting permissions for what we need to do. And what we like a lot is that they have these young speakers that will come to schools and put on presentations for the whole student body.
Thank you. I did take a look at the website. It was pretty impressive.
It is, it's very impressive. We will be, I think, the 17th high school in Rhode Island, but they also partner with colleges throughout Massachusetts and Rhode
Yes.
Island.
And a lot of high schools in Massachusetts
Yes,
as well.
absolutely.
And the one thing I did notice is their grants are not nothing.
No, they're not. Our first
substantial.
grant, I believe, would be at least $2,000, and they'll send us some swag to get kids started getting this up and running. And like I said, they'll have a banner made for us that we can display in school, but that we can also take to events.
Sure. Are you ready?
It's nice to just see that you're not alone, that people are going through similar things like you are too.
We're all expected to be perfect, and that's what the expectation is. But we're all humans, so we all struggle with our own things, and that's okay.
These are around 200 of your peers, your fellow mental health leaders, 200 people who are in that complex dialogue, figuring it out together, supporting each other and accepting one another. We really applaud you for leaning into that complexity and addressing mental health. We're leaning in with you, and if you ever feel alone, I urge you to remember what we just did, the faces all around you here. There is so much power in that.
And there's so much power in recognizing the power of your voice. Not only to make a difference for others and using your voice to be vulnerable and to break the stigma around mental health, but you can also use your voice to unpack those struggles and begin that healing journey for yourself.
I liked when she said it's okay to be not okay, and I kind of just internalized that as it's not okay to pretend to be okay, and a lot of people do that, which makes the problem twice as hard.
Things like mental health, topics like this that affect our schools, we want to do everything we can to support that. So bringing the community our sports community, our athletic community, our school community together like this is very important initiative for us.
As a former student athlete, you know, a lot of things have to do with training your body, but not so much training your mind. And I think it's very important to know that there is a collection of people that you can talk to. You have help, and it's just around the corner.
I think it was nice to hear that there's people who can really appear on the outside to like have this good life, but are struggling too, and that anyone can struggle.
I want you to know that who you are in this moment is more than good enough. Pour your entire heart into this moment, knowing that you are beautiful and strong and talented and worth it. I am good enough. I am good enough. Amazing, amazing. Take the power of positivity with you the rest of the day, the rest of your life.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions from the committee? Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor? It is approved. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, ladies.
Okay, next up, we have a vote to approve consulting services agreement between Tiverton School Department and James Dillon. Mr. Haskins?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am seeking approval of the Tiverton School Committee for a consulting services agreement between the Tiverton School Department and James Dillon. This agreement is designed to enhance the district's use and management of the Aspen Student Information System. As you know, the Tiverton School Department eliminated the data manager position some years ago. As a result, the district lacks the sufficient knowledge and expertise for the more sophisticated aspects of the student information system, including enrollment and scheduling. The primary goal is to build the district's internal expertise and operational capacity regarding the Aspen Student Information System. This work is divided into 3 functional areas. First, a needs assessment to evaluate current usage across all stakeholders, meaning administrators, teachers, and parents, and reviewing alignment with state reporting requirements, i.e. RIDE. The second is action planning to develop a strategic blueprint that includes the recommended system configurations, improved workflows, and enhanced communication strategies. Third, capacity building by providing training sessions and documentation to ensure the district can maintain and manage the system effectively over the long term. The project is structured into 3 distinct phases. Phase 1, we would receive a written summary of current Aspen usage and identified gaps. Phase 2, a formal written action plan presented to the district leadership outlining the implementation priorities. And Phase 3, at least one training workshop for staff and the provision of guidance materials to support the action plan. The consultant will be paid $125 per hour, $250 per half day, or $500 per full day. Total compensation for the needs assessment and action planning phases is capped at $5,000. The contract specifies that a separate agreement must be negotiated for the training and capacity building phase. Because the initial cost is under $5,000, it is classified as a small purchase professional service. The consultant is strictly required to comply with FERPA and all state and federal laws regarding the protection of confidential student and personnel data. If the consultant has direct contact with students or is physically present in the schools, he must undergo a background check, and the consultant will operate as an independent contractor responsible for his own taxes and insurance. Finally, either party can terminate the agreement with 10 days written notice.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the consulting services agreement between Tiverton School Department and James Dillon?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments by the committee?
I
Ms.
do.
Paquette? Sure.
When Aspen first came in, they had a huge training session with it. And there's tons of training manuals out there with that it covered everything. So I'm just wondering, we're talking about maybe we're not spending more than $5,000, except when you stopped at without written amendment. So it could be more than $5,000. Has anyone looked at the training manuals?
Yes.
They have, and they're not getting anything from that? Because they're pretty simple, like they take pictures of the screens and show you where to click and all that stuff.
We have used training manuals for the most frequently used components of the student information system. Entering students for enrollment seems to be a more problematic process for us. We are frequently fixing data entry errors because of the complexity of student enrollment. A student could be present in the Tiverton public school system, could be part of the Tiverton school system, but outplaced, could be in a special education program, could be homeschooled. These are changes that happen on a daily basis, and we need a greater number of people to have the ability to make those changes. Probably the most complicated portion we are not currently using, and that's the scheduling software. So no one has had training in the scheduling software, and I think we have 2 district employees who had that original Aspen training, who are currently still using it.
There's still a lot of people here that had that original training, that have been here for a long time.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
I said there's still a lot of people that have been here for a long time that had the training, the original training. So you want to use this for training or?
Yes, there are 3 components. The first is a needs assessment. The needs assessment would be able to identify
right, okay, I see,
who's using it, how we are using it, and the areas that we're not using.
Okay. Almost set for now, thanks.
So, Mr. Haskins, is this to address the issue we created, I guess, is the best way to put it, when we cut the data manager?
Essentially, yes. We need to build the capacity of our existing staff. Now, having a data manager would solve many of our problems, but also having a data manager could create some problems. In the absence of someone with that specific position, it provides us an opportunity to train more people to be able to use the more sophisticated aspects of the system. For example, when you have somebody in that position, then all data problems go to that person. Right now, we don't have anybody in that position, so all data problems are coming to our administrative team. We need to boost our capacity to be able to provide some of that support for all of our users.
And my understanding is some of our fellow districts do just this, that can't afford a data manager. They essentially supplement by contracting out, and it's worked well for them?
Yes, well, there are 2 different versions of that.
Mm-hmm.
There are districts that are employing independent contractors on a part-time basis to serve as their data manager.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what this proposal is.
Mm-hmm.
This proposal is to build the capacity of a greater number of Tiverton Aspen users,
Okay.
so that we can.
So we're not going to that second level yet. We want to try to build the expertise, build the capacity within before you would get to a point where you would say, you know what, now we need to go to step 2. You want to try step 1.
I do. If additional resources become available to us, we will be recommending the addition of a data manager in
Yeah.
future years. I don't see that happening this year, probably not next year. So eventually, when we do hire a data manager, we will have greater expertise in the district to just help further support that.
And Mr. Andrade, no problem covering this in the current budget?
That is correct. Due to open positions to answer, but yeah.
I figured. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
You're welcome.
Ms. Pavo? Okay. I do have just a couple of little questions. On the compensation clause, it does cap it off at $5,000 without written amendments to the agreement, and we understand that. And any written amendments obviously would be brought back to us. Then it says a separate contract would be negotiated for the training and capacity building. So are we committing to all 3 phases, but only committing to pay for the first 2 with this contract? Is that what I'm reading here?
Yes. Are we committing to the 3rd phase? We are committing to at least 1 training session.
And would that be included with this?
Yes.
So, okay. So should you want to go deeper into the training and capacity building, you would come back to us for additional funding?
Yes, except should the obligation for compensation exceed $5,000, then an extended contract proposal will be brought for your consideration.
And you'd have to go for bid and all of that?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Haskins, what is his credentials? Is he from Aspen or?
So James Dillon is a retired data administrator from the Cranston Public Schools. He worked for the Cranston Public Schools for over 30 years for the entirety of his career, beginning as an assistant principal at Cranston High School West, moved into the office, central office in the Cranston Public Schools in 2004, and has served and did serve as the district Aspen system administrator from 2004 until his retirement, which I believe was 3 or 4 years ago. He comes to your attention, or to my attention, highly recommended by the superintendent of the Coventry school system. Was having a conversation with that superintendent a few weeks ago about our data concerns. Coventry was having similar data concerns. He mentioned success in working with Jim Dillon to help do a needs assessment and build the capacity of their staff to use the more sophisticated aspects of the student information system.
And now this is Aspen mandated by RIDE? Is it like
No.
one of the, it's not mandated, okay.
There are several competitors. Power School, Skyward, Aspen are the big 3.
And there's
Okay.
no organizations that would provide any kind of training, complementary training for this?
My
Right.
experience prior to Tiverton was with Skyward. I did find that Skyward had a lot of opportunity for training. We're finding that the training with Aspen is a little bit harder to obtain and a lot more expensive.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Are there any other questions? All right. I think we are ready for a vote. All in favor?
No, we had, oops, sorry.
Were you all set? Okay, it's approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have a vote to approve an MOU between the Town of Tiverton and the Tiverton School Department regarding the use of building space at Fort Barton. Mr. Haskins.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The primary goal of this memorandum of understanding is to establish guidelines for shared facility use that support Tiverton recreation programming without compromising the safety, security, and continuity of the school department's transition program at Fort Barton School. Recreation will have storage in an unused classroom and use designated upstairs office and classroom space. To prevent interference with school operations, public recreation programs may only begin after 3 p.m. following the conclusion of the transition program at 2:45 p.m. During the summer and vacation periods, recreation may utilize the gymnasium and an adjacent small office, provided it does not conflict with the year-round transition program, which runs Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. Tuesdays through Thursday mornings, excuse me. No exterior or interior doors may be propped open at any time. When school is in session, all recreation visitors must be greeted at the door and escorted for the full duration of their visit. The school department will not provide custodial services for recreation activities. The recreation department is responsible for cleaning all used spaces, including restrooms, and removing all trash after every program. The school department will mow the grass once a week. Any additional field preparation for recreation programs is the responsibility of the town. The school department provides no technology support, equipment, or internet access for recreation operations. The recreation department is responsible for supervising participants and managing its own equipment. The school department is not liable for any losses of recreation equipment or supplies. And an annual planning meeting will be held each April or May to coordinate summer schedules and resolve potential facility conflicts.
May I have a motion to approve the MOU between the Town of Tiverton and Tiverton School Department regarding the use of building space at Fort Barton? I'll make that motion. Have a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion or questions?
Mr. Haskins, how many classrooms are they going to be using? It looks like there's 3 mentioned.
I'm not exactly sure how many, we haven't really limited the number of classrooms, just really the location of those classrooms. So right now, in my last conversation with the recreation director, it was 1 classroom, but it looks like it could be up to 3 classrooms depending on programming.
Okay. And what kind of programs are they talking about having there? I mean, I know they do summer rec and concerts and stuff, but what other types of programs are they interested in having there?
You know, I'm not sure as to the extent of the programs that they offer. I do know that they offer a summer camp, and I think there are other recreational opportunities for youth in Tiverton that they run. I don't want to put you on the spot, Mr. Andrade, but you know the town much better than me. Are there any other programs that you know Tiverton would be using Fort Barton for?
Excuse me. They might expand based on the space, but as of right now, it would be used for what they're using Picasset for. They're using Picasset for their outside summer camps and whatnot. So it's just to hold their basically to hold their equipment rather than the recreation chair's house. He also donated a couch to the program that will be housed at Fort Barton, etc. So they're basically just transferring schools. You know, they're using Fort Barton instead of Picasset, really.
And why, is there any reason why they don't want to use Picasset anymore?
No reason. He just wants a home. Stu, the chairman, just wants a office for his director and a home, and we were able to offer that as a partnership to Fort Barton. Also, it's Fort Barton's about 3 steps from his house, so he can be a little more active in the camps during the summer, along with working his full-time job.
And who's going to be mowing the grass?
That would be us, based on the MOU or MOA, whatever we're calling this. But we would be responsible for the grass as we are today. I did tell them the dumpster's no longer there, and they would be responsible for the trash. And Stu said there was no problem. I also want to say on record, you might have said the superintendent, so I apologize, but Administrator Jones is part of this process as well, so.
So would it be the company that we use to mow the grass now, or is it going to be?
Nope, that company is only allowed to mow the athletic fields at the high school and middle school. Our custodian staff cuts grass. So our custodian goes there every Monday to cut grass, take out trash, along with taking out trash other days, but grass cutting is specifically for Monday. If there's a holiday on Monday, he would go the prior Friday or Tuesday.
So it's one of our custodians, okay.
Yep.
And then the question too, now what happens in the event Fort Barton needs to be opened up again as a school?
That would be a question for the town recreation program.
No, that would be a question for this committee.
Well, your committee, yeah. Not for us is what I'm referring to.
Yeah.
We need to utilize the school to the school. That's not for our decision is what I was saying, so thank you.
If the school committee were to reopen Fort Barton as an elementary school, this memorandum of understanding would discontinue.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Kim, I just want to add, really, if Fort Barton was reopened, it would just be, they could still utilize Fort Barton just like they've been doing at Picasset for the last 10+ years during the summer. They just wouldn't be able to house an office there. So that's what would change,
Right.
most likely. Yeah.
And store equipment.
Yeah, they would have to find a new home for that. Currently, it used to be Stu's basement, or currently still is, but yeah, they would still be utilizing the school as they've done at other schools for the last many years, but we wouldn't be able to allow an office.
And they don't plan on changing any of the structure of the classroom?
No.
Okay. Great. That's all I have. Thank you.
Anyone else have questions? I have a couple. Liability and compliance section, I truly think should be beefed up a little bit. There's nothing in here that holds the recreation or the town responsible for any damage to the building or the grounds. And I really do feel that something should be there. And there's also no discussion about, and you do talk about building security when the transition program is running. I think I read in some other iteration of this that the Recreation Department would like to expand their offerings to maybe include classes. For example, adult, and I wish Stu were here tonight, but adult computer classes and things like that. And if they were to do that, they'd be occupying the building at night. There is no mention of security protocols in the evening, because our current building use agreements all have custodial staff to ensure that the buildings are locked up, et cetera. I don't think we would necessarily want to do that here, but put something in here that would describe what the expectation is with regard to the security of the building when they have control of it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I can address those two
Sure.
items. First, certainly we can add a line under liability and compliance that the Recreation Department shall be held financially responsible for any damage. Second, if the Recreation Department expands its programming for night classes, we would need to amend this MOU and bring to the school committee for approval.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And then to Kim's point with respect to should there be a need to reopen the school as a full-fledged elementary school, I would recommend that there be language that speaks to perhaps a notice of discontinuance of this memorandum in that event.
I will make those changes and bring it to the school
Appreciate
committee
that.
for its next meeting.
And then the term of the contract, I don't know if anyone has any, what were you thinking for term?
I'm of the belief that all contracts should be annual and not extended for beyond annual and revisited each year.
I agree with you on this one in particular. You know, it's kind of like a trial run, let's see how it goes, and then should there be a need to change the understanding the following year, it can be changed. And do you know if the town council would have to vote to approve this?
I believe so.
I would think.
Yeah, okay. That's just a curiosity thing. Right. Yeah. Mr. Perry, do you know that? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know if the town council would have to approve?
We have a MOU before us
No,
from
or
the
are
Recreation
you saying
Committee?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Well, it's coming back to us, so if there's anything else that, yeah, okay. So it's not finalized, it's coming back to us, so if there's anything else we need to consider, please let us know.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Then, at this time, I'm going to ask that we're not going to take a vote, so may I ask for rescission of the motion and the second? Whoever made the motion,
Oh, I withdraw my motion.
you withdraw your motion,
Yes, she was
and
the second.
Withdraw my second.
Yeah.
thank you very much. I don't know if that's Robert rules, but at least it covers the basis. It's the intent. That's why I need Jerry back here. He was excellent at that. All right, next up. moving along. We're going to be out of here by 9, I promise.
Thank you.
And if you believe that,
If I believe that, I would believe anything.
all right,
I'm
next up, we have monthly financial reports. Mr. Andrade.
Where are we anyway? We're here in this,
So, excuse me, thank you, Madam
Talk
Chair, school
fast.
committee members.
almost
Talk
9
fast?
o'clock.
Well, you see this every month, and it's in front of you. No scary items yet. Everything is, I just did the same thing last week for January, but this is period 8. For February, still no structural deficit trends, and as you see in your memo, everything's laid out from a high-level area, and then all the backup is given by line item, including our revenue intake so far through February 28 to 2026, which is period 8 of 12 of this fiscal year. Any questions?
Cam, do you have a question?
I do. This is really simple. The last page where, under the revenue section, there's 3, state aid and town appropriation. Could you please change the color on that? Like, my eyes are going buggy.
Yeah, so the reason that color's gray is because the receipts are recorded by the town, not us. So I'm kind of saying that has nothing to do with us. That's why it's gray, but I can very well change.
Really light gray?
Yeah, maybe lighten it
The
up.
gray and the blue is just.
I can lighten that up, but I apologize. It obviously looks better on Excel in front of my computer, but that's no problem. I
Yeah,
just
perhaps
wanted-
ditch the blue and anything negative in red.
Yep.
And then disability on the UCOA 52105, what is that for?
That actually is part of my contract. So when I came on board, it's a disability policy because we don't, certified staff doesn't have TDI.
I don't think anyone does.
Correct, no one does, correct.
Except you know.
Excuse me,
Right, yeah.
yeah, I was referring to myself as certified staff. So that was something I've always had in my previous employer, so that was something I negotiated in my contract.
Okay.
So it's $1,700 a year.
Just curious, I didn't know. The
Yep.
way we don't have TDI, that showed up, I was,
Yeah, it's just what it is if I, I'm sure you know what it means, but if I were to get hurt and I can't work, the district has the ability to terminate my contract in 6 months. So I just thought it was a good benefit to put in my contract based on that. So if I get into a bad car accident, I could be out 12 months, and now I'm without a job as well, so.
that's fine.
Yep.
Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Are there any other questions? I just want to thank you for turning this around so quickly. You've been Johnny on the spot, getting it to us the first meeting of every month, really without fail. So, thank you.
I appreciate that, and it's because.
Your efforts are not unnoticed.
Thank you, and it's because I want to get it to the town council within their monthly meeting as well, to be transparent, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right. Next up, the last item on our agenda. Discussion and possible vote on the FY '27 budget. So, I know Mrs. Polish stepped away for a moment, but I've laid out in bullets how I would like us to proceed with this process, with ultimately the vote for the appropriation request to take place as the last action of the evening. We'll start off with a technology presentation. Mr. Andrade has come back, and I know there were questions from our previous discussions. Then we will take a look at any of the additional materials that were requested and received by us at the committee, if anyone has any questions or discussion points for those. Then we will entertain any final line item votes. If you'll recall, we took a couple of votes, or a vote last week, where we increased the building, a couple of the building maintenance lines, and those votes were done and completed. So those changes are now permanently in the budget, or permanent as anything can be. And then finally, once we go through any of the line item adjustments, we will discuss and undertake a vote on the appropriation request so that we are in line to meet our deadline of March 19th to hand it over to the town. So, Mr. Andrade?
Madam Chair, if I may.
Yes.
I've asked Mr. Andrade to give a high-level overview of the presentation
Please.
because we have received this presentation before, but since there were many questions at the last school committee about technology, I was expecting that we'd have the opportunity for Mr. Andrade to answer those questions this evening.
Thank you. Have you made any changes to your presentation?
There's
from
no
first-
changes. There was one concern about Amplify. We looked into it a little more. I don't know if you shared that answer with, no. So I did make that change here on the slide that Amplify is on. We had a little, like, I guess, misdescription with what the licenses were. I had one listed as THS software. This is because Miss Craven, she was, prior to being the principal at the high school, she was the principal at the middle school. So her name was on that contract. So when we saw that in our department, we filed that under Tiverton High School. So I put it in here. That's in that other presentation. That's how it was labeled. Looking deeper into the contracts and what those licenses were for, we do have two contracts, one being K-8 for student licenses, and then one being K-8 for educator licenses. So that's the only change here. I don't know if there's any other questions. I did want to highlight, I know I showed these charts when I presented the first time, and I just wanted to dive deeper into them because I know a cost on technology is a major question. When comparing these numbers from FY25, our actuals, to what we're projecting in FY27, I just wanted to go over that our web-based curriculum is down 20.4%. Other web-based services, so other softwares that we have that teachers have asked for. Last year we did cut a lot of that down, so we're down 29.51% in that UCO account. Tech hardware, we're down 30.52%, and tech software, we're down 9.3%. So the department has been making a lot of cuts to certain softwares. I know when I presented the first time, Ms. Parquette asked for the year prior, I showed a slide that said where we'd cut next if we had to. All those cuts were made. So that's why this year there wasn't a slide like that in our presentation, because there really was nowhere else to go other than rethinking curriculum and, savings there. But it would be moving away from what we know. So any questions?
So Amplify Science is for teacher licenses?
Correct. Well, we have two contracts with them, and that's why I show it up there twice.
The educator one.
The one's
Yeah.
educator and one's student. I believe you have the updated slides with those changes.
So now some districts receive the teacher licenses for free once a student license has been purchased.
It's not the case, I guess, with our contracts that we've accepted in the past. I could definitely, when we renew with Amplify, look deeper into that. But the two contracts that we had purchased a few years ago, that's how it was outlined.
We have purchase orders and invoices that match his line items, so we can share with those with you if you'd like.
Are you aware of which districts that maybe perhaps they can reach out to understand it better?
Yeah, this is a current 6-year license too, just for the rec, so it's been around for a while.
Okay.
So when was this entered into? Just
When Sue Craven was back at the middle school, so 4 or 5 years ago,
so it should be up
right?
pretty soon.
Yeah, it should be.
It should be coming up probably in FY28. I think this is our last year, FY27, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Incident IQ, are you not using that anymore?
No, we are. We have Incident IQ, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It
'Cause I didn't see that.
moved accounts, I believe. We moved
Oh,
to a
okay.
different account. It is on there in that slide. I can look for it, but it's on there.
Okay.
But we use that for our asset management and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I did notice too, you were gonna add in UCOA 56501 on your slide. The 5-year budget trends.
What was the question?
On the 5-year budget trend
Yeah.
slide, you were gonna add 56501, which was technology-related supplies. You had broken it out on the previous page, but you didn't put it on
Okay,
under the trends.
that line item never changed. I think it stayed like a consistent 10,000 for the past like 5 years, so that might be why I didn't include it on that. I didn't know.
No,
you wanted to see it
that's on me. I helped Danny, I said this last time too, but I helped Danny do this trends. That line item itself, Kim, is for $29,000, so there's multiple items in there. Danny's item, he budgets for 10, he's gotten about 5 to 7,000 in the last few years, and he's spent about, between 5 and 10,000 in the last 5 years, so. That budget itself, again, includes multiple items such as copiers, anything to do with copier rentals, copier maintenance, repairs, et cetera. So his piece is a very small piece of the 29,000.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the new computers you want to buy, are those touch screens or are those?
Yeah, for the past 2 years, we've purchased touchscreens for first, fifth, and ninth. The price is actually cheaper on the touchscreens than it is on the regular devices, and that's actually, the teachers love that they're touchscreen, and it's been a saving to the district. I think it's because the price to replace screens are more expensive, so Dell doesn't sell them as much, so when I talk to my sales rep, he usually gets me a better price on touchscreen devices, just because the repair cost of them could be higher. So, yeah, so we have purchased touchscreens the past 2 years and plan on going forward just because the price per device is cheaper on those.
So you said first grade, fifth grade, and ninth grade, so I went and totaled those up. You have 324 students. And then you were going to buy some extra for loaners. How many were you
Correct.
going to?
So I did pull those numbers. Last year, we purchased 358 devices.
Okay.
And we were able to purchase 200 cases. We purchased like hard cases, like similar to what you'd have on a cell phone for fifth and ninth grade, because those go home with the students. First grade, they stay mainly in the classroom carts, except for distance learning days. So we don't purchase cases for those. We're looking at the numbers for registrations and what we currently have for K, fourth, and eighth grade. We have 356 students enrolled in those 3 grades. So I'm budgeting around the same number because last year we had 358 that we purchased, and this year we're looking at around 356. We do happen to lose some students in 8th grade, unfortunately, to other CTE programs, et cetera. So that number will come down, but that's how we'll replenish that cost for those cases. So I don't expect us to fully have 356 students coming in, but I do plan for that, because those are the numbers I have in front of me.
Okay. And then too, I had asked about insurance.
Yeah, so we still offer insurance. We use a company called Smart Tech. It's no cost to the district. Parents, we send out on newsletters at the beginning of the year. The schools have flyers on them. It's on our website as well. Parents can purchase insurance through the vendor. When a device does break, they would work directly with the vendor on a replacement device. The company sends a box to your house. You'd put the device inside it, send it to the company. They would fix it. In the meantime, we would give the child a loaner device to use, but it kind of cuts the district out for repairs, and they work directly with the vendor.
And how many people are purchasing insurance?
Really not a lot. I think last time I looked into it, like 23 families actually take advantage of that service.
Would it be advantageous for the district to pay? Is that even possible to get insurance on? No?
Yeah.
Okay. And then when students leave, like, they lose their charger or they lose their, I'm trying to think, their power cord, where's that money coming from?
Part of it is in that, I guess that technology hardware is where I come up with some of those costs. When we do buy for first grade, luckily we don't need to, the devices come with chargers, and we don't have to rewire the carts in those first grade classrooms because the chargers are C chargers and they're still good. Mm-hmm. So when we do purchase these new devices, all the devices that go to first grade actually end up with an abundance of chargers. So it helps me make those replacements. If elementary classrooms, if those carts, chargers do break, I do have some on hand to replace. So I'm kind of purchasing them, but it's kind of like within the purchase of the Chromebook, and just we don't need those adapters for first grade classroom. Gives us some on hand. So we do help students out if they come down to our office and they say they need a charger for the period and stuff. We do give them. Students, if they do break their charger, they're supposed to either go to Amazon or work with the school district administration to purchase one, but that cost is on the families for replacing adapters.
Okay. Oh, my question to this, and this is the last question I have. I've spoken to some parents that said that their student hasn't had their actual Chromebook that they started school with. And they're using a loaner. So we're how many months into school?
Yes.
How is that happening?
So if a device comes back and it's out of warranty, typically the devices come from Dell with like a 1.5-year warranty on them, because we purchased them in the summer, so we kind of lose a couple months out of that. But when they're in the student's hand, they have about a 1.5-year warranty. If it's under warranty, we sell it, send it to Dell. If it's repairable, we get it back. We give it back to the student. If it's not under warranty, we do the repairs in-house. But our department has been cut down by 3 staff members in the past 2 years, so those repairs have been a little more delayed. So we try to give students back a device that is in working condition, similar to the device they turned in. So if they brought us a cracked screen, we're not going to give them a cracked screen back, but they're going to get a device back. They're most likely not going to receive their original device back, depending the circumstance of the damage. And especially not if it's not insured through that company, or if it's not under warranty, we give them a device. I know like schools call it like a loaner system, but it's really a replacement system. You're going to get another device back. I can't promise you're going to get yours back because of those circumstances.
I think,
So-
if you don't mind, Kim,
Sure.
I think Danny sold himself a little short in his department, because they're taking time to go through the computers before they're being shipped back. Sometimes, right, correct me if I'm wrong, sometimes students are saying their Chromebook is broken and it's just not charged. So they're plugging in, waiting it to charge up. Now that takes an hour, then they gotta try to, I
Correct.
don't wanna use the word
Yeah.
dissect it, but look into it. So there's a lot of time with that too, but so.
It is an ongoing battle, and I meet with the directors of technology from Massachusetts because we meet in person monthly, and it's especially in the middle school levels. The guys go on talking about it for 30 to an hour sometimes, just off the agenda, because at the middle school level we see it the most. At that age, students want to get out of class. If it's dead, they can go to the main office, turn it in. So we see that, and we get a pile back from the middle school. 20% of it probably just needs to be charged. Some of them they're damaged. We currently do not charge families for damages. We really try not to, unless it's a malicious damage and a teacher caught the student throwing it down the stairs. So we try to do what we can in-house with devices that we got from last year's 8th graders, and if we could put something together and give it back to the student, but really trying not to charge families in Tiverton for replacing devices. So if we were to get a student a brand new device back, or make sure they got their original device back, then there would probably be some costs on the family to make that happen.
So if computers are not under warranty anymore and it comes to you and it's broken, what happens? I remember there used to be stacks and stacks and stacks of
Yeah, I
computers
mean,
downstairs.
so we use it for parts at that point. If it's not under warranty, we would use, one broken device to hopefully repair 3 other devices to get them back to students. Yeah. In the past, I had an intern that was really good at doing this stuff for us, but he graduated last year. He's doing really well in college now, but yeah, it was great to have his help, because he would, all day he was repairing those. That's, it was kind of a staff member that we did have on our team. Now we don't have that position, so we don't have somebody 24/7, well, not 24/7, but all day fixing devices, so.
Okay, that's it for me, thank you.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, we have the additional materials that were sent over to us this week. Kim, you were the one that requested these materials. Did you have any questions? I'll throw it to you first. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Absolutely. She's on technology.
Yes, please.
So, sir, this is more for you, Brendan. I saw the line item for Aspen was 27K plus the at least 5K we're doing with the consulting. Have you looked into other, or don't know the right way to do this, so.
Anybody here?
Ladies, have we asked the, Brendan to look into other student management systems that might overall and in the long run be better than Aspen for our needs?
I'm not sure how long the contract is with Aspen.
Yeah, I was gonna, Danny actually controls the technology contracts. Do you know how long Aspen's around for?
It's year to year, because it's on the Rhode Island Master Price Agreement, so every year, you know, whatever other districts are getting per pupil cost on Aspen is what we're getting for Aspen. We have looked into Power School, it is
way
a
more
much
money.
more expensive option, probably close to twice the amount that we pay Aspen for currently.
I was just doing some quick
So,
research for the
so
last
Danny,
15
you,
minutes. It
you
just
have
looks like
looked at
they're-
other options, but this is the most
We do
cost
that,
efficient
Looks like there are other options.
for what we get.
Yeah, and we use Aspen for multiple reasons, Danny.
Yeah, I mean, there's disciplinary notes, if you want me to.
Can you
Yeah.
please,
Thank you.
we always have to be aware of the camera.
Sorry.
I mean, for a district our size, Aspen is more than adequate at covering everything. I mean, teachers use it on a day-to-day basis. We use it for attendance, disciplinary actions. It does do high school, middle school scheduling for us. Again, there is a big piece of, we need training on it. Not a lot of people have had proper Aspen training, and we have looked into Aspen training directly from Aspen. It is expensive to get them to come to your school, and it is tough with our secretaries being in the building full-time. It's hard to pull them out of their buildings to do one of these Aspen trainings. So again, it's for what we use it. I think it's a perfect software for a district of our size, and the competitors are costly. So.
Thank you. Are you all set up, Gail? Okay, thanks. Back to you, Kim.
Excuse me, when we had our workshop on January 31st, we went through positions that had been eliminated. At the time, I had assumed the math specialist at the high school, it was a math specialist at the high school, because it was mentioned that we were adding, it was mentioned that we needed additional teacher support for mathematics at the high school. What position is that? Is that another teacher position, or?
Thank you, Ms. Paquette. I did review the school committee video to reference that point. We did not have and do not have a math specialist at the high school.
Right.
The context of that statement was in the needs that we have for the school district.
Yes.
We
yes.
do need additional math support at the high school, but I did not intend that to mean a math specialist or a math intervention specialist.
That was all on me.
Yeah.
That was what I assumed it was.
Yeah, no.
So what is it? Is it another teacher, or?
We need to find a way to provide more math support with our current resources, meaning a math teacher, a current math teacher.
And if we had the money, as it was part of that budget presentation, that is something that is not supplied for in this budget, but if we had the money, we would. Is that the intention?
That is correct. When I was presenting the initial overview of the budget, I gave a statement of what this budget proposal does not represent. And it does not represent a number of things, including additional mathematics support that is needed at the high school.
Okay. So I had asked for all this information because when you said that it wasn't affordable at the time to bring back some of these positions, I really felt that we need to bring back some student-facing positions. So we don't have the money, so that left me to say, let's look at the budget and see where we can cut things so that we can get the money for these things. I looked at test scores, and I feel like we really need to get these positions back. Diane had mentioned too, getting more late buses. That was one of the things I had asked about, was how much it would cost for more than 35 days, which is what we have now, right? Okay, so I had asked about that. The middle school and the high school libraries are closed. Are districts mandated to have a functioning library in each building?
We do currently have a functioning library in each building. Students are able to check out books. We cover that through teacher schedules. There are teachers assigned to the library to help manage that. Districts are not currently required to have a full-time librarian. The legislature is considering. It does not look likely to pass. You never know what would happen, but yeah, they are considering a bill that would require full-time librarians in every school in Rhode Island. It doesn't look like it's going to pass. Currently, there is not a requirement to have a library media specialist in each library.
Okay.
How about with the NEASC for the high school?
I did look into that.
Sorry.
The NEASC report did not require a library media specialist in the school, but they do want an update on the progress of the school to be able to support library media services for students in the absence of a library media specialist.
Go ahead.
So what about your, the reading specialist? Is that going to have any impact on the NEASC? Not having that help? At the high school, yeah. Yeah, because that's where.
I don't think did we have a reading specialist that was caught? I don't believe so.
Yes, a few years ago.
A few years ago, yeah.
Oh, I don't know, it was mentioned again.
I think it's in context to the need, the suggestion, but we don't have the funds to answer that need. But I think it was also elementary was?
For the high school, there was not a reading specialist at the time of the NEASC visit last year. In reference to a reading specialist being needed at the high school, that was in the same paragraph as a needed additional math support at the high school, of what this budget does not represent.
Okay. The first thing I looked at was bringing back kindergarten aides. A kindergarten aide works 17 and a half hours a week, and they make $18.13 an hour. So that's $63.46 per day for $11,486.26 for a year. And to bring back the kindergarten aides, it would be $45,945.04.
If you don't mind, Kim.
Absolutely.
So not necessarily. There is steps you have to go through based on experience. So that's step one rate. In addition, if there's 5 or more kids in the class with an IEP, that would move them to the interventionist rate, which is a higher rate. But in the scheme of things, not that much of a difference, but I just wanted to highlight that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That to me was like huge.
Yeah.
Because we definitely need that.
Just for process, Madam Chair, are we going to be going through, like...
We are, and this is when you left the room.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You know, I explained that we would first speak to the technology presentation.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
And this part of it here is that we're just going through the materials that Ms. Paquette had requested. If she had she or anyone here had any comments or questions with respect to those materials. Now, Kim, the next item would be for us to take final line item votes. And then after that, once we take these line item votes, we would go to the appropriation votes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Because a lot of good information. I was just,
Yep.
I just wanted to make sure I understood the process. Thank you. Go ahead, Kim. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
So 45.9, you said will be in the low end-ish. That's okay, you know me, just the high level.
For what?
AIDS.
It was about almost 70,000 last
Okay.
year. Yeah, if we have 5 kindergarten classrooms.
Okay, thank you. Just clarify.
70,000?
Let me just check to be sure.
Yeah, because they don't get any kind of benefits.
Correct.
They would,
They do get vacation time, though.
yeah.
So it's 195 days if they're here for more than 3 years.
A part-time TA gets vacation time? I know the special ed aides get vacation time.
But hold on one second.
I mean, really, part-time gets nothing.
So if we increased it from 5 to 10, those five part-time aides, right now in this budget, total $64,047.
How is that if they're not getting benefits?
They get one individual makes $11,045. The other individual makes $11,872. The other individual makes $12,790. The other individual makes $13,343. And the last individual makes $14,557.
So they're all at different steps.
Correct.
But if you're bringing somebody back, or you're putting an ad out there and you're getting somebody at the lower end,
Correct. That would be a less price. I'm just giving you a ballpark average. Yeah, yeah. So,
right, which usually people will come in and start on the lower step, Council 94,
correct. That's usually the case. Absolutely.
which would be the 45.
But remember, we also,
We,
just for clarification, the newest contract
correct.
upped the rates and gave the superintendent the ability to hire at higher steps if people had experience.
And it also depends on recall as
Right.
well.
So that's the range, 45 to 65.
It's
Correct.
ballpark.
Correct. 45 to 65 is a good range to be, yeah.
Because I know the people that left at the bottom step,
We just recalled one, yeah, correct.
at the
yeah.
bottom step,
Yep,
okay.
yep, absolutely.
So I just, when I was going through all this, I'm saying what I'm looking at doesn't have to be permanent, but I was thinking just until student outcomes, get a little bit better, and also we have a cushion in the general fund. So I would like building subs. We've got 6 building subs in the district. And they're making $150 a day. And the daily sub rate is $120 a day. So I'm looking at if that, and a lot of times the subs aren't, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but there are times when the subs are not working. They don't have an assignment. So if we eliminate building subs and went back to frontline like we did before COVID, because this building subs were something that came in during COVID because they didn't want a lot of people in and out of the building, so they kept the same person. So when COVID left, the building subs stayed. So with all things considered, I figured out 6 building subs, for $150 per day, and 180 days a year. And then I did the same thing for the daily subs. So the savings would be $32,400, and that's not counting the days that people are not available, that they don't need work, they don't have work. If they go to frontline, there wouldn't be anything there for them to pick up, because there'd be nobody would need a sub. So that was something that I had looked at. I don't know if.
So,
At some point, Kim, I'm going to ask you to make motions, but at this time, we're still reviewing the information that came in. Do you have any other things you'd like to call out in the information package that came in? Because I want to give everyone the same opportunity.
Well, I think, to your point, we just need to start making motions.
Well, I do want Kim to first tell me she's good. Because in this package, it was a total of 25 pages. It included Medicaid histories, fund balance histories, per pupil costs, all kinds of enrollment data. Is there anything on here that you wanted to call out for the benefit of the committee, I guess? Or if you had questions about it, of the administration?
No, I don't have any questions. I think this could probably be discussed when I go through what I've.
Okay,
So rather than going through any of this, it'll come up again.
all right.
And thank you for putting that all together.
Yes, thank you.
Nice.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now we will move to the next phase, right? Line item votes. Again, we took a couple of votes last time around. If you'll notice we have in our packages tonight, Mr. Andrade, I don't know if you want to give us a quick synopsis of the changes that you've already put in before we start talking about any of that.
I would love to. So as you'll see in your packet, I believe it's 5F4, the memo, 5F4. So as I discussed, we had a few more changes from last revision, which was done on February 20th. Even though we reviewed it last week, that budget document was done February 20th. Due to the snowstorm, we extended it, but we kept our backup detail for the March 3rd meeting the same. So based on that, I'm working off changes from February 20th to try to get to a more confident and final number as, say, 3 weeks went by, basically, from the last revision. So from the last revision, it did increase by $74,856, or 0.20% increase. So right now, based on that difference from February 20th to when we started reviewing the packet on January 13th or so, we're looking to battle here tonight approximately $113,000 to stay where we are with the current revenue projection that has, it changed slightly by $16,000 last meeting, but with a 3.6% tax appropriation and a, excuse me, 1 second, 3.6% tax appropriation, and with state aid, it's really a 2.98% increase year over year. With tax appropriation and education aid by the state. Last year in FY26, we were approved for 3.27%, so a little less than the 3.27%. So with that said, the biggest increase has to do with employee benefits, which is really health care. The trust has not provided a better figure. They're still providing a wide range figure. So if you remember when we first started in January, the projection was 7 to 10%. We used 9% based on trends and data in conversation with the trust. Now, most recently, that has increased from 10 to 15%. So I had to increase benefits to 12.5%. So with that said, if you are paying attention to the state level, Blue Cross Blue Shield, who is part of that's our medical provider through the trust, they tried to propose a 29% increase. The state denied it, and it settled at 22%. The reason we're not seeing the 22%, we're more in the 10 to 15 range, is because how the trust works, it's an interlocal trust. I believe there's 37 out of 39 communities part of the trust, and those communities work off a pool. And then that pool is separated within the municipality and the school department. So our pool here locally in Tiverton, we share a pool with the town of Tiverton. So that would include the police department, the library, the senior center, fire department, town hall, DPW, and the school department. I don't think I missed anyone. So we share a pool. We also have different categories. I don't know if that's the correct language for medical terms, but we have different categories as we have different subgroups. So you have your certified certified folks are under one plan, your administrators are under one plan, your non-certified folks are under one plan, and then the same thing on the town side. You have HSAs for town hall employees, police department, et cetera. So there's a lot of different moving parts. So our projection is 10 to 15%, not the 22%. So I did increase that with still some concerns for the future. Outside of that, everything else is pretty flat. We did have another large increase just to kind of battle the out-of-district tuition. But we did have some savings in other UCO accounts that kind of helped offset that a bit. And everything else is, you know, talking less than $10,000, so not much of a change here and there.
So what's the total you're recommending right now?
We have to make up $113,000 this evening.
So we had 36,652,808, and we're at 36,765,776. Is that where you're getting that from? So we have 112,968 we have to make up?
Correct. That is correct.
Or present a higher request.
Correct. Yep, and that's what I mean by battling.
Yep.
Yep.
So before we go any further, with respect to the bottom line, are there any motions that anyone would like to present for consideration for line item changes?
Up or down, or what are we
Up or
doing?
down,
Up or
however
down?
you want to do it.
Okay.
So does a person make a motion for that?
Yes.
Or okay. I'd like to make a motion to bring catering down to $2,000.
What line item is that?
That is. Should have did that, huh?
Which page?
Purchase professional and technology services, 53706.
Purchased, other purchase, professional, 5.3.
It's the last line item in that category.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
From 4 to 2?
Yes.
Do you have anything you want to add, Kim?
I just think $4,000 is a bit high.
Can I ask the superintendent and the business manager, whoever's got the answer to this, what does that catering budget include?
It includes items mostly associated with National Honor Society and those type of events. And then we also host, if we host a luncheon for professional development training, or the most recent one that comes to mind is when Paycor was going live. We brought all the clerks over to do a training during the lunchtime because that was the preferred time by the principals. So I provided lunch based on that. So based on that trend of the last few years, we've averaged in the last 3 years alone, FY '25, '24, '23, we averaged about 4,400. So I did bring this down last year, but yeah. So the biggest thing would just be a battle for graduation, National Honor Society, and those other events that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Is that not included in the graduation?
Nope, graduation is just supplies, so that would be cap and gown, that would be rental for tables, chairs, staging, yep.
So catering is just, for a graduation catering, that's for the school committee?
No, there's waters for the kids, there's cookies, there's a little mixture of things that is happening. If you remember, were you at the last graduation?
I was, yes.
All right, remember we met in the main office and we walked through, the kids were in the commons. In the commons, they would put a spread for the kids before graduation. It's cookies, water, just light snacks.
And the National Honor Society is all the stuff that's outside after, right? They do a little reception.
They do stuff in-house too at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly, I just
Okay.
know by the bill.
Okay.
Miss Gray controls that.
I guess my concern is that we're just gonna pass this on to the parents and the booster groups and that already do so much and give so much, would be my concern, to save $2,000. I mean, that's little. I mean, I get it, and every little bit counts, but we'll just be passing those costs off to groups that already do so much for the district.
Yeah, I had looked at that because I had asked about that before, and I was told, like, when the copy machine man came to fix the copy machine, his lunch was paid for. So to me, I was like, that's kind of ridiculous.
Who, before my time, I'm assuming?
No, this was just a few months ago. And I asked about catering.
I don't think Danny would be the one to work with a copy machine, and I did not get a bill.
I don't know, yeah, if somebody had come to work, I guess at the superintendent's office, the copy machine, and they
I
got
can-
lunch because they were working around lunchtime. You were, I don't,
Yeah, there have been no contracted services who have gotten a free lunch in the Tiverton School Department.
Correct. I'm gonna run a report just to see Kim as well, but I don't recall any.
So,
Anyway,
okay,
but
we
that's
have a
what-
motion. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Kim,
No,
before we
that's it.
vote? All right, is there any other questions from anyone else?
So,
All right,
what
so
is the motion again?
the motion is to reduce the catering line item, which is 53706,
Right.
from $4,000 to $2,000, which is a reduction of $2,000.
So, okay.
We have a motion, a second, we've had discussion. All in favor? Are you in favor?
No. No, now that I've heard about it,
Didn't she?
No, she's not required to
Okay,
vote for it.
Okay, okay.
yeah, now that I've heard, that it's not copy machine people or whatever that's getting lunch.
No, I can, if you don't mind, I can just add, I'm looking at the actual expenses for this year.
Yeah, let's not get into this.
We've had discussion, we have a motion,
Thank you.
second, we're voting.
Thank you. Next, are there any others?
Did we finish the opposed?
Yep, we did. Motion fails.
Thank you.
Any others?
I'd like to make a motion to cut building subs.
By how much?
So that would be by,
What line is that, please?
Hold on, it's the second line, 51115, the second
Okay,
line.
right on page 1, second,
Yep.
salary substitute certified.
Correct.
It's currently 270.
I think it would just be better to go to frontline, because then people can pick up the jobs.
So, my biggest fear to that is salary subs includes various people.
Before you go any further, what is the reduction that you are asking for?
To eliminate that would be 162,000.
And would you replace it with something else?
Yes, they would.
So
people
what's
would
the
pick
net
up.
difference?
That's hard to determine. It depends on when somebody's subbing.
So here's the thing. We need a number. This is the budget discussion.
Okay, I can't, yeah.
Even
I
if it's a
can't
close
guarantee-
estimate, right, we need to have,
That's what I was gonna say, because then I would probably have to increase classroom coverages in case we did not get a sub that day.
And there's a cost with that.
There is, they get $30 a class. Yeah, per the contract.
Kim, where did you get that number that you said? I don't,
and before, guys,
yeah, we're discussing.
I really am trying to keep this as a process.
Yeah.
Like, what's
A repeatable process. Kim has made her motion. I'm not quite sure yet about the dollar amount, but once we get to that point, then we'll ask someone to second it. Okay? So Kim, I'm putting it back on you, unfortunately.
That's okay.
It's your motion.
I can't
So
give
you
a
would-
dollar amount.
Okay, so it's very
I mean, I
difficult.
know what it would cost to, eliminate building subs, but I don't know who's going to need to.
Right, but that's part of the analysis that has to be done, right? The service is still necessary, and so, yes, you could reduce the building subs, but the replacement cost is not something that you've calculated.
determine it,
And we
right.
don't know, so I don't know if we can even consider your motion. Eileen?
I just want to understand, do you want to cut, now it should
Before-
be on, the full amount of the building sub account? Did you say
There is no
160?
building sub account.
Okay. That's
Salary
what-
certified, salary substitute certified. That's the line item we're looking at. It's 270.
And what, did you say 162?
The motion is not yet on the floor.
Okay, but that's all right about that. Okay, no, I can't cut those. Okay, thank you.
So if I don't have a dollar amount, then I probably
You
should.
probably don't have a motion, no.
Okay.
Are there any others?
Make a motion to make the director of maintenance position part-time.
Do you have a dollar amount?
Part-time, the savings would be $70,021.
What's the UCOA code?
out of regular salaries?
He makes, full-time, he makes 75, Kim.
So before we go
I'm
any
looking at with
further,
benefits.
let's get the motion on the floor. Okay, before we have any discussion, please. So Kim, your motion is to reduce the direct maintenance of position funding by $70,021.
And that would be with benefits included, that's why you're saying, yes.
That including benefits?
That would be including benefits, yes.
Okay. Do we have a second? Last call. Do we have a second? All right, we don't have a second. Motion fails. Any others?
I would like to make a motion to cut the assistant superintendent position out of director of student services and making that position a full-time director of student services.
And the dollar amount?
With benefits, $140,615.
Okay, your motion is to cut the assistant superintendent line item by $140,615, including benefits.
Yes.
Do I have a second? Final call, do we have a second? There is no second, motion fails. Do we have any others?
I do have questions regarding stipends. Am I allowed to ask questions, or?
We were at the point where we're making motions. We're really getting, it's 9:26 on the last night, and I really do want to keep this moving along. We've met for multiple hours at this point, so if you do have a motion with respect to stipends, please make it.
No, I had questions, but. That's all I have.
Okay.
I'm all set. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any motions they'd like to bring forward? Okay, so at this time, we have no additional line item changes to suggest. We need to start talking about the appropriation request. And before we go into that in any depth, I do want to make note of the fact that I have on the agenda, vote to approve preliminary appropriation request to send to the Town of Tiverton. That was done intentionally. And my understanding is that we would have perhaps an opportunity to change our request at some point down the road. And I should have known better. I've been doing this long enough. So tonight's vote for the appropriation request will be our final vote for the appropriation request, because we have no additional opportunity to amend it according to the charter. So,
May I ask?
Yes.
The business Brandon, I can't even. Do you, Sarah, or Superintendent Haskins, have any further recommendations for us to reduce the 112,968? And it's perfectly okay to say no, but I'm looking to you as the experts. We know that, you know, the number's over, and if that's what it is, it is.
I'll start. The budget in front of you that I presented is cut as far as we can to the best of our knowledge,
Okay.
working together.
Okay. And that's what I wanted to know.
Madam Vice Chair, I would echo, I do not have any recommendations for further reductions in this proposed budget.
So we have a couple of options. First, I want to talk about the Medicaid balance. We have a current balance in our Medicaid account, and that's funds that have been received to date, of $310,304. That is through February 28th. And I asked Mr. Andrade to clarify for what periods that represented, and that represented reimbursements through January. So we still have a few more months of reimbursements in FY '26 that we are expecting to get. We have previously committed $65,000 of that to support the FY '26 budget. So that is already spoken for. That leaves us with $245,000 and change available to commit in total to the FY '27 budget. Now, the request that Mr. Andrade put forth was for $150,000. That's in the current appropriation request, which would leave an excess right now of $95,000, with a few more months to come in. And Mr. Andrade, how much did you say you would expect to realize in
Probably
total?
400 to 450,000. We, for reference, we brought in 432,000 in FY '25.
All right, so even being conservative at 400,000,
Yep.
okay. We do have a little bit of wiggle room there. The question is, do we want to commit any more of these funds for FY '27 when we are still not finished with FY '26, and understanding that we can experience the move of a special ed student or two into our district that hits our expenses? Does it make sense for us to commit any more of this, or perhaps leave it on the table as a buffer?
Well, even though it's going to be tight, we do, through some very good budgeting practices, we certainly do not believe we're going to go over budget. So we may have some wiggle room in our fund balance as well. I guess I would rather, with that kind of number, even though 65,000 is already committed, I would rather see us go from 150 to 265 for Medicaid funds to keep that number at 298. Which even if we, 400 minus 65 minus 265, it still leaves a buffer of 70. And that's on the low end. If it comes in higher than that, maybe it's 100K. But if that's the direction the committee wants to go, we could, bump up that Medicaid number to, 150 plus 115.
And understanding that these Medicaid reimbursements, right, are just that. They're reimbursements for services that have already been incurred. Expenses that have already been incurred. However, not having any fund balance in our general fund, it's become, certainly more important that we have something here. I'll ask our Assistant Superintendent, what do you think about leaving 70 in there right now to hold us
70
through
to 100, yeah.
the rest of FY '26?
I would go more on the 100. I would keep 100.
Try and keep 100?
Yeah.
But you said
Mr.
it's 4 to
Andrade and I
450, right?
Mr. Andrade and I talk about this often. And I would lean a little bit on his expertise on the financial side as well.
So what do you think that number, is it 4 or is it 450? What's its trending?
It's trending more to 450. However, what Ms. Krieg is saying is we fear using any additional funds on top of 150.
Yep. I hear you.
But I know what you're trying to do, Ms. Palace, as well.
Is there anything magic about leaving that at 2.98 and not just going, what would the number be if we?
But before we move on to this.
Sorry, go ahead.
Are you saying we can't go above the 150 we've already?
No. I'm saying I would recommend staying at the 150 and trying to find a different avenue. You very well could go above.
Okay.
Yeah. That's your
Okay.
decision.
Okay.
I'm just giving you my,
That's
yeah.
Different
Understood.
avenue being bump up the
Bump up the
appropriation
appropriation.
request.
Correct. I just fear Based on trends of the district in the last 3-4 years, we've seen a tick up in special ed services, district placement, et cetera.
I mean, because those are our choices.
DCYF placements, you know, there's just, yeah.
It's a lot of scary unknowns.
And are you good with the tuition CTE of 66? Any wiggle room there? I know that was an estimate.
Yeah, based on current data,
Yes,
we might be a
okay.
we might be a little short, but it's tough to tell until the April to June timeframe. Yeah.
And are you all set, Deb? I'm sorry.
Well, our only options are increase the Medicaid and keep it at 298, or increase our request. I mean, that's where we are.
Correct.
I would also add that we have 3 major categories that we do not have firm numbers on.
Correct.
And actually, I'll say 4, to include state aid. Right? It's been okay the last few years as far as there haven't been any big negative surprises after the first announcement, but that's not to say it can't happen. It's happened before. Health insurance. I know you upped your projections, but you still have nothing firm with respect to what it's really going to be.
Correct. I have a wide margin right now, and I will say that even when that wide margin when the trust gave us a better margin, say around March, April last year, that did increase further to the final figure that was given in May, June, wherever it was, yeah. So.
Not all of these expenses are very predictable.
No, you're talking, you don't know a final number till, say, probably even after June 1st.
But at least at this point, you do have an educated guess.
Exactly.
But that's the best we can do.
It's the best I can do, yeah.
Then we have CTE placements, going out the other way. That's a number that continues to rise. And we won't have a firm handle on that really until September 1st. Let's face it. And then special ed placements. That's something that, it's something we're always susceptible to. So with all of that said, if we were to go up to the max appropriation request, it would give us an additional $116,961. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Which would cover this 112.
Correct.
And allows us to keep that Medicaid money, which may very well be our only cushion. So I don't know what everyone else is thinking, if anyone wants to make any motions.
So would now be the time to make a motion to increase our appropriation request to 4%?
The appropriation, if you were to make that request, the total appropriation, which is the vote we always take,
Yep.
would be $36,385,269. Is that correct, Mr. Andrade?
Agreed.
269.
I make a motion to request.
That's before other revenue, which we will take in separate votes.
I make a motion to request 36,385,269 for the appropriation request.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Is there discussion? Honestly, guys, I don't see any way around this. Not this year. We've spent hours here. Your budget was very well vetted, first by you and then by us. I just don't see a way around it right now. So I'm in support of a 4% request.
I would feel better leaving some funds in the balance rather than using them to make up this difference. And I think as the elected committee for our schools and for our students, why not ask for the 4% if we identify that we have this need and we have concerns about upping usage of Medicare funds? That's how I feel.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Against?
Against.
Okay, that's 4-1. That passes. We have a couple more votes that we need to take. First of all is a vote to request from town gaming revenue, $168,500 to help pay for, and Mr. Andrade, help us understand that again. Review it.
So the 168,500 request, 100 and, just use a round number, 103,000 was for curriculum, new curriculum that RIDE mandated for middle school civics and U.S. history and high school science. And the additional fund was to offset a small portion, I believe it was about 40% of the Chromebooks that are in the budget. So that would help offset basically 40% of the $119,000 request for Chromebooks, which are just not student-based. Those are also for educators as well, educator replacement-based. So.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to send in the request to the town council for those items that Mr. Andrade just explained? Request for $168,500 to come out of the capital gaming account. Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Ms. Polish?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
4-0.
5. Okay, and then finally, we need to take a vote to transfer funds from the Medicaid balance to the general fund balance to help support this appropriation of $150,000. Do I have a
I am
motion?
actually going to make a motion that we transfer 210. I came up with that number. It's the 150 plus it's half of the increase. We just increased our appropriation. So we're at least trying to make up some of the difference. So my motion is we move 210,000 of the incoming Medicaid.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Are we sending a mixed message? I fear, okay, I mean, and honestly, okay, I mean, we can take the vote, and honestly, if we will be sitting back here more likely than not in a couple of months, having to reconcile whatever it is the appropriation is, so.
I mean, I guess I'm just looking at the grand total that we're spending is how I'm looking at it. I mean, I know, I understand that's 4%, but I'm looking at the grand total of the spending.
So what this will do, though, okay, is it will increase the operational budget. Because we've already approved the appropriation request.
Yes, but not what we asked for the town.
Yes, we did.
Well, we increased that, but we're gonna increase what we're gonna transfer for other revenue, which will.
Increase the budget.
I see what you're saying, yep, I was thinking it backwards.
And we haven't thought about how we would spend that increase.
I was thinking of it backwards.
Yeah.
Yep, no, you're right. Never mind, I withdraw that motion.
Thank you.
I was looking at it backwards,
Withdraw the second.
Thank you.
sorry.
No, it's okay. So may I have a motion to transfer $150,000 from the Medicaid account to support this spending? Thank you.
So,
Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, thank you. Is there any discussion? Okay, I do like that we're gonna leave some money in there. I hope we're wrong. But we're coming from a position where for years and years we had big fund balances. And now we're coming from, 1 year where we had a deficit. This year, we're, unsure but hoping we'll be fine, right? It's trending okay, but we still have 4 months to go. So I like the idea of leaving some money in there, which is great. So is there any other questions, comments?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we could, what I was attempting to do is, we could reduce the town appropriation by 60, but honestly, it's such a minuscule percent that we're really on a $36 million budget. It's just, there's no point in we're asking for what we need. I mean, we've been doing this since November, so there'd just be no point. And you're right, this is the only thing that we have now, because we have no fund balance, to try to, any kind of thing that comes in that's unanticipated. So it's to Jocelyn's point, it's probably the smart thing to do.
Thank you. Before we take that final vote, I would also like to add that, well, actually, let's just go ahead and take that vote. All in favor? Okay, 150 it is, thank you. That concludes our votes. So, Mr. Andrade, do you have your marching orders? I would like to thank, first of all, you and Ms. Krager and Mr. Haskins for all the hard work that went into this. I know you had a lot going on behind the scenes to make these numbers work. I want to thank the members of the committee who have sat through, I'm calculating probably about 15 hours of discussion around this budget. It's probably, in my tenure and probably in all of our tenure, it's the most transparent and the most full discussion that we've had. So I'm confident, and I'm also confident in our final request, because at the end of the day, as members of the school committee, while we need to, always remain fiscally responsible, our first goal, our first necessity is to advocate for the students and their education. And I think we've done that this evening. So thank you very much. Our next meeting is 2 weeks from tonight, March 24th. We'll also be having a policy subcommittee that evening before the regular meeting. And at this time, do I have a motion to adjourn? Have a second? All in favor? Deb? Okay, we're adjourned.